and welcome to Speak Up Sis Podcast. This is the place where everyday women and men have an opportunity to share their stories to inspire yours. We say what you think no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to know. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine, and tonight is the third Monday of the month, and so my co-host is here with me, Miss Charnel Griffin, and this is Encouraging Expert. Charnel, how you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am not going to complain.
There's no use.
There is absolutely no use in complaining. So for those of you who may be new to Speak Up Sis Podcast, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you are viewing on Speak Up Sis YouTube page, I say thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure that you subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can get updates whenever we're live or new content is dropped on the page. If you are viewing on the Speak Up Sis Podcast Facebook page, hello, and make sure you're following us on our Facebook page as well. So listen, everybody, we've been MIA for a month, right? Because we had the Everyday Woman series going on for the month of March. So we didn't have our regularly scheduled Monday night episode. So Charnel and I are back. We haven't been in the same space since February. So I'm happy to see you, sis. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. I wish I was there to hug you.
I know. So as you all can see, Charnel and I are streaming tonight instead of being in studio. One of my mighty men of valor had his very first college recital in North Carolina. And so I drove there to be with him. So we're streaming tonight instead of being in studio, but that's okay. Next month, we'll be back in studio, and we've got a guest next month. So you all make sure that you're tuned in. But tonight, Charnel, what are we talking about tonight? How are we helping the people tonight?
We're going to talk about business fundamentals that people tend to overlook, but are very key in order to have a successful business, regardless of the type of business you have. These are foundational things that need to be implemented in your business for it to be successful.
Okay, that's what's up. So listen, everybody, Encouraging Experts is designed for entrepreneurs. And whether you're an expert entrepreneur or whether you are a novice entrepreneur, we come here every third Monday of the month in order to share some tips and strategies to help you in your business. I'm the encourager, and Charnel, of course, is the expert. All right, so tonight, let's go ahead and jump into this because, you know, we don't like a whole lot of jaw jacking. So let's go ahead and get started. So tonight we're talking about 4 overlooked fundamentals of business success. There are 4 things that Charnel and I thought about that a lot of people overlook when they're in business, but they are most definitely things that are key to the success of your business. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. You want to start, Charnel?
Yes. So the first one we're going to talk about is creating business systems. Mm-hmm. Now, in order to have a successful business, you have to have a system. There needs to be a system in place that you follow and that everyone that works for you follows, even your clients, right? If you have, for example, if you have an e-commerce business, there's a system they have to follow. They have to log in. They have to click on the items that they want. They have to put it in the cart. They have to put in their credit card number. They need to put in their information. They're following a system as well. But if you don't have that, they're not going to do it. And you'll have a decline in sales, if not sales at all, right?
Exactly. I am going to put my glasses on. Y'all excuse me if there's a glare, but I can't see without my spectacles. I want to share something with you all because I think a lot of times people don't deal with systems, Charnel, because they don't really know what systems are, right? So I wrote this down to help. All right. So a business system is defined as a set of principles, practices, and procedures that are applied to specific activities to achieve a specific result. And your systems can be, and every part of your business will have some type of system. And those systems are put in place in order to make sure that you are operating more effectively, right? It's to make sure that if you have employees that they know what to do, right, and they can do things according to what you have set up for them so that they can be more effective and more efficient, even if you don't have employees. And I think this is something for novice entrepreneurs. When you don't have employees, you think, oh, I'll just do everything. But even if you're the only person in your business, you should have systems for everything that you're doing to make sure that you are working as efficiently as possible. So would you mind sharing with people an example of a system that you have in place for an area in your business?
Yes. But before I do that, I also want to piggyback off of what you said.
Okay.
A lot of times in business, we'll say, well, we'll get to it later. We'll do it when we get bigger. But as the entrepreneur and the business owner, you have to act like the size you want to be, not the size that you are. And that's very important because and I know we talked about this in previous episodes, but when you get to that point, when you are big, how are you going to handle it if you still writing stuff down on a piece of paper?
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to envision it. Now, I'm not saying it has to be done all at once, but you gradually realize what the business needs and you accommodate that. As the CEO, as the entrepreneur, you're the visionary. So you need to say, okay, this is what I envision for my business. This is how I want it to run. Then you ask yourself, how do I make that happen? So then you reverse engineer it, right? You reverse engineer what you want. You say, okay, I want to get 50 new clients. Okay, how do I get 50 new clients? It goes into the next topic of knowing your numbers, but I won't spill into that yet. But if you understand and know what you want your business to be, that's how you need to start working on setting your business up to operate. So that's when systems come into place. So if you say there's a system and a protocol on how to answer the phones, or how to respond to emails. What is the proper protocol? How do we make sure that things, opportunities, money doesn't fall through the cracks? That's what you have to ask yourself. And that's when you reverse engineer it and you say, okay, so I want my end goal in mind, right? My goal is 50 new clients. How do I get the 50 new clients? Okay, so I know for every 100 visitors that come to my website, I'm going to get one customer. Okay, so how do you work on, okay, how do I get to I want 50, so it's at what, 50,000? Listen, I don't like math, so you know what I mean. But you look at those numbers and you say, okay, I need this many people, I need this many visitors to come to my website. Then you ask yourself, how do I get them to come? Who do I need to put in place? What systems or softwares do I need to purchase? If any, you may not need it, right. Especially if you're starting out, you can definitely do some guerrilla marketing and all that good stuff. But you have to ask yourself and write it down. Write down what you want. Write down the outcome that you want in your business and then say, okay, how do I achieve that? What do I need to have? And that's how you create your systems. You look at an issue or a problem that you're having in the business, and you say, what do I need to do to make sure this doesn't happen again? I tell my staff all the time, I'm okay with mistakes. You can make a mistake. You're human, but I don't like habits. Don't make it a habit. Right. Like, we have to learn from it. We have to say, okay, this outcome wasn't good. What do we have to do to make sure next time this doesn't happen again? Right. And that's part of creating a system to make sure that issue doesn't arise again. If that
good. Yes, that makes sense. And so to give you all, I guess, some steps to help you with this, once you decide on what the issue is, you got to come up with an objective. You need an objective, right? And you want to be able to streamline. That's what Charnel is talking about. Create streamlining things so that you can have an objective and how you plan on solving whatever the issue is that you have, right? How are you going to accomplish this objective, this goal? And then you're going to break down those tasks, right? So you're going to, and that's that backwards design. When you look at the end goal and you say, okay, this is what I want. This is what I need done. Now I'm going to break down the tasks. These are the steps, and that's the system, right? These are the things that need to be put in place to ensure that we get to this end goal. And then you're going to take a look at how you can improve on some things. And here we go. Are there some habits that I'm doing that need to be weeded out? Are there things that my employees are doing that need to be taken out that don't work as well, right? You're going to improve on those issues, and then you test it out. You put it out there, you allow the system to work, and then you go back in to see what's working and what's not working. I'll tell you all, working with my VAs, it was really difficult for me at first because I didn't have any systems in place, because I was just used to doing everything on my own. And so I just did things as they needed to get done. Well, once I got a VA, and I put her over the bookshelf, which is one of the pieces of Speak Up Sis, right? One of the spaces. Well, I was just doing things as they as they just kind of came in. But she was like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Right? What am I supposed to do? Well, I didn't have a system in place for her to do anything, right? So I had to actually sit down and think about everything that I do in order to get things done. And so I had to create standard operating procedures for her and all those things, but your systems are included in that. So now she knows exactly what to do. She knows how to reach out to people. She knows how to respond. We've created a workflow. There's an email flow, right? There are things that are just set. So every email that's going out is not something that we are typing up right at the last minute. There's a whole automated workflow, right? These are systems that have been put in place so that every single time she engages with an author, they get the same quality experience. And that's one of the good things about creating a system, is that you get consistent service. You can give consistent service, right? And people are receiving consistency with your products as well as your services. And Charnel also mentioned being able to scale your business. Right? If you see that you are $1 million business today, although your bank account doesn't say $1 million business, but if you create systems, you're able to scale it from 1,000 business to $1 million business, because you'll have the systems in place that will allow you to scale your business. All right. So if you do not have systems in place right now, go check that out. Go Google it. Y'all know how I feel about that. You can Google it. You can learn it on your own, or you can connect with someone like Charnel with her profit and cleaning service. She is a coach. She can teach you how to do these things. She's a business coach. So if you are not going to go do it on your own, connect with Charnel, and she can help you with creating business systems for your business. Okay.
And Angel, another thing I like about systems, it enables you to hold yourself as well as your staff accountable. There's no guessing. There's no, well, I thought. No, you don't have to thought. Follow the system, right? Like, dumb it down. Make it so that even a 5-year-old can figure it out and know there's no room for error. Exactly. Right. And that takes time, because you're going to keep tweaking your systems and your business as time goes on. But to piggyback off another thing you said, is one of the things that I have adopted is I know that I know everything starts in the mind, right? I have the idea first, and then I start putting things in order, and it manifests and all that good stuff. But I tell people, you have to see it before you see it. You have to see it in your mind, in your vision. That's why I said, as the entrepreneur, as the CEO, you are the visionary. You have to envision what it is you want. Once you figure that out, then everybody else on your team will line up and follow your lead, because that's what you're showing them. But you, as a CEO, have to know. You have to have, a vision. You have to have an idea. You have to know what you want to do, and start jotting down ideas on how to do it, how to make that happen.
Exactly. People who work for us have to have clear expectations. They need to know what's expected of them, and it needs to be clear. Right. So, but how can they be clear on what they're supposed to do if you're not even clear on what they're supposed to do, or what your business is doing?
Right. Or be successful, right?
Exactly.
It's difficult, very difficult to be successful in business if you don't have a system.
Exactly. And one final thing I want to say about creating systems before we move to the next one is this is for the business owner who has a hard time pulling your hand off of things. Creating systems helps you to not micromanage. You do not have to do everything on your own. You can delegate. Yes. You can say, here, this is what you're supposed to do. You can train people. They know what the systems are. You created your operating procedures. Everything is listed like it's supposed to. And once they're trained and you know that they're good, you can pull back and you don't have to stand over them, making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, because you know that you have systems in place and that you trained your people well. And so you don't have to micromanage, and you can actually delegate so that you can go do things that founders and CEOs and visionary leaders do. Right. So that's another really important reason for you to put some systems in place. Nobody likes to work for a micromanager.
Right. And you don't want to be. It's definitely going to be difficult for you to run this big empire if you're micromanaging how someone answers the phone.
Exactly. So we're going to take a moment to say hello to our viewers. If you're listening, hello, and thank you for checking us out today. We appreciate you. And if you are watching tonight, I would like to say hello to you as well on our Facebook page. To Shura, hello. She says, hey.
Hey.
Tiana says, okay, with the mustard color, y'all are gorgeous. Yes.
We were intentional.
That was intentional.
We were
Yes.
intentional.
And Andrea, hello. She says, needed to hear that. Act like the size I want to be. Yes, you are already this $1 million business or whatever type of business you're working towards. You are that right now, right? So that's what's up. So we're going to go on to number 2. And our number 2 fundamental that's often overlooked by entrepreneurs is knowing your numbers. And Charnel kind of walked into that for a second when we were talking about systems, because in order to put systems in place, in order to put them in place, you really do need to focus on some numbers. And in order for them to run effectively and for you to be able to go in and tweak them and allow the system to do what they need to do, you still need to know what your numbers are. So when we talk about knowing your numbers, Charnel, what are you referring to when you say know your numbers?
You have to know what you need to. So when I was talking about the reverse engineering and I mentioned, okay, you want to get 50 new customers, you have to reverse engineer the numbers, right? How do I get to 50? I know how to get to 1. So how many is it going to take for me to get to 50? That's knowing your numbers. You don't want to measure all numbers. You want to measure the numbers that are important. And for some people, and I know I'm one of those people, numbers are scary to me, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I realized that was my weakness. And I said, okay, that's fine. I don't have to like numbers, right? I don't have to know how to add them all up, but I do need to know how to read them. Yes. I need to know what they mean, right? And I need to know what to measure. If you don't know what to measure, how can you grow? You don't know where the weak spots are or the areas of improvement because you have not looked at the numbers. So if you look at, for example, I gave the example of you want 50 new clients and you've looked at your numbers and you see how many clients you get. You see that it takes 100 web visitors in order to generate 1 customer. So now, okay, I need to multiply that by 50 to get my number, to figure out how many people do I need on my website, or how many email blasts do I need to send out, or how many phone calls, how many cold calls, whatever, how many existing customers do I need to reach out to ask them to refer. Look at those numbers. And one of the things I've done, because I don't have time to calculate these numbers and generate the data, I have my staff, they do it. And then I also have it, I love automation. So I have it for some of the numbers that I measure, it's automated. I have it automatically uploaded into a spreadsheet that as soon as we book an appointment, it's uploaded in the spreadsheet. Anytime we cancel an appointment, it's uploaded in the system. These are numbers that are important to me and my business that I want to know. I want to know how much we're generating each day. I want to know what's my busiest day of the week. I want to know when is my busy season. This is going to help me to decide how many people I need to hire during this quarter. You know what I mean? So numbers are important. They don't lie. It is what it is.
Yeah, so, you're right. So one thing you all will notice, if you've been paying any attention to any of the Encouraging Experts segments, and Charnel has been in business now 15 years, and she runs a successful business, and she's at a place in her business where she can hire people to help her with some of the things. However, she still has to know what they're doing. She still needs to know what she needs to expect from them. She needs to know what those numbers are doing so that she can project and do things of that nature. Then you've got people like me who are really, really green and really new, right? And I don't have people that, I don't have the funds yet to be able to pay people to do it. But guess what? You still have to know your numbers. And I want to talk to you about the types of numbers that are important, especially when you are trying to grow. All right. So some types of numbers are your social media numbers, not in terms of followers per se, but your insights. I don't know how many of you actually look at the insights. First, if you're like your Instagram page, if it's not a business page, it needs to be, because there are tools that your social media platforms have for you to check. So in the insights, you can determine when your followers are actually online looking at your content. Knowing your numbers means I know what time to post. Some of you are posting at times when your people are not even online. Right. And you're wondering why nobody is engaging with my content. Knowing your numbers is as simple as paying attention to what time of the day that your people actually engage with your content. It fluctuates throughout the week. Knowing your numbers is knowing the best time to go live. Some of you just go live whenever. No, you should be strategic about when you go live. Many of you may not know, but Facebook between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., right, is the best time. Most people who are engaging with Facebook are engaging between 1 and 3 p.m. That's really generic. It can get a little more specific depending on your niche, but that's just sort of a generic time. Thursdays are really good days. Sundays are not, right? So this is an example of knowing your numbers, and not just those types of numbers, but your money numbers. And I can tell you personally, I hate looking at the money numbers. It's something about when you know there's not a lot of money, you just like, I just know, all I need to know is it ain't nothing in there. But come on, you know I'm telling the truth, Charnel.
Yes, I do though.
But in order to get money in the bank, there are some things that you can do, and you all already know. Thank you so much, Jamar, for viewing and sending stars on Facebook. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Here on Encouraging Experts, we want to make sure that you can walk away with some things you can actually use. And so I want to also share with you something that I know Charnel does it. I still do it with paper and pencil because I'm still at the paper and pencil level right now. But I sit down and I look at how much money I made last year. I look at that. I hate looking at that sometimes, but you have to look at that. And this year I sat down and I looked and I went, I didn't realize I made that. I made that much money on this. I didn't realize it. And so then you're able to project. You're able to project for the next year. You go, well, if I made this much money, then I could possibly make this much money next year if I do this. And so knowing the numbers, there are some things. Here's something that I do. I decide. I said, okay, for me, and this may sound small for some people, but it's my thought process for this past year, is that, you know what? I would like for my business to earn at least a regular salary. Okay. Now, some people may say that's little thinking. No, for me, when you're looking at 1 year, you were making $2,000 for the entire year. Right. And then the next year you say, well, I'm going to make $50,000. That's a huge jump. Right. Yep. So some of you are like, I'm gonna make $1 million next year. Listen.
And have no plan.
Have no plan. None. So here we go. I said, okay, my business is gonna make $50,000 this year, right? Knowing the numbers is okay. If I take $50,000 and I divide that by 12, right? That means that I'm going to need to make $6,250 every month. Then I'm going to split that up by 4. Right. I'm going to split that up by 4. Right. And then that means, well, actually, I did this starting from May. Right. So that's how much I would need to make from May to the end of the year. And then I said, okay, every week I would need to make $1,562.50 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, what does that look like every day? That means I would need to make $225 a day in order to earn $50,000 a year by the end of this year. That sounds very doable, doesn't it?
Right. It's not as scary anymore.
And it's not as scary. But when you just go, I'm going to be a millionaire. How are you going to do that? You have to know what the numbers say. You have to know what you did previously to know what's possible. Not only that, you got to look at what you're doing to earn money to see what's making money and what's not making money.
Right.
Right. So if you love doing this, but it's not making any money, you may need to shut that down.
Right.
And focus on the part that is making money. But you know what? You won't know these things if you don't sit down and look at your numbers, whether it's financial numbers, whether it's the statistics on when your people are watching you or not. All of that matters. How many email subscribers do you have, right? How many of them? I was just talking to someone the other day about a software that I purchased that helps me to see who subscribes, who unsubscribes, how many bounce back, how many of my emails are actually opened, how many people click. This helps me with sponsors and so when I go to businesses and say, if you sponsor my podcast or if you pay for an advertisement, when I do my email marketing, 66% of my email contacts actually open and read my email. 20% of them actually click the links, right? 15% of those people are actually clicking my business partners' links. That is knowing your numbers.
Right. And then you can sell yourself because like you say, you create your media kit and people want to know your numbers. If they want to do business with you, mm-hmm. they're going to say, what's your numbers? I don't want to invest in a company that's not producing.
Exactly. I don't want to invest in a company that doesn't know whether or not they're working.
Right. Right.
You don't know.
Right.
You have absolutely no idea, right? So it's very important for you to know your numbers. And this is something that Charnel and I thought about and thought many new entrepreneurs don't pay attention to the numbers. Sometimes I think it's just, you just don't know that they're important. Sometimes I think you just don't know what numbers you're supposed to be looking at. Right. But you want to make sure that you are paying if it has a number on it in your business, you need to know what it's about. You need to know about your taxes. I mean, if it's a number on it, you need to know what it does and how it affects your business, whether it improves, whether it's detracting from it. Know your numbers, all of them.
Yeah. Especially in the beginning when you don't know. Mm-hmm. At least monitor what's making you money.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to multiply.
That's right.
That's what you want to figure out. Okay, well, I need to know what's making my phones ring. I need to know what's making people click the link on my website. What is it? Where are they coming from? You have to monitor those things. So like you said, I have a spreadsheet that it looks at my numbers from the previous years. Mm-hmm. So I can forecast. I can tell you when my busy season, I can tell because my VA will say, oh, we're getting a lot of phone calls for people want to get their house cleaned and it's empty. I said, because a lot of people move out in the summertime. Mm-hmm. I know that. right? My numbers have shown me that.
Right.
I know the holidays are that towards the end of the year is my busy season because people are entertaining guests during the holidays, but I know my slow season is the beginning of the year because people spend all their money during the holidays. So, but this is what I've known, right? So I know, okay, maybe I don't need to put as much marketing dollars into this particular quarter of the year because we're going to get a lot, or people are not spending money at the beginning of the year, or, you know, spring cleaning is coming, or people are going on vacation for the holidays. So I know it might it may slow down a little bit, but it's just understanding and knowing the business. And I probably say it every episode, but building relationships. If you don't know, you need to find somebody that does.
That's right.
They'll tell you. They'll be more than happy to tell you.
I'm telling you, and make sure you continue to tune in to Encouraging Experts right here on Speak Up Sis Podcast. We let you know what you don't know you're supposed to know.
For free.
For free. Tiana says, QuickBooks for small business and a good friend that's an accountant are my lifesavers in regards to the money numbers. Yes, QuickBooks is something that a lot of businesses use. If you don't know how to use it, find someone who does and learn it. Yeah. Okay. It's definitely a tool that a lot of businesses use when it comes to the financial numbers. Hello, Tanya Talisha. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hey, Q, it's good to see you as well. Tiana says, what numbers need to be included in a media kit? That is a really, really good question. So I created a media kit for Speak Up Sis Podcast, actually. And now I'm going to tell you, you want to include the numbers that are honest and actually show what you are doing and how impactful you are. At the same time, you want to, you have to know how to present the numbers.
Right.
Knowing how to present the numbers is important. For example, I may say something like total, I have 10,000 followers, right? I'll say total or cumulative or something of that nature.
You said it earlier, actually. You said 60% open rate. You didn't say.
I didn't tell you how many, right?
That could be 66% out of 100.
66% of how many, right? So it's how you present the numbers. So if I tell you that across all platforms, we have 10,000 followers. Oh, all people here is 10,000 followers. What that may look like in practice is I have 1,000 followers over here. I have 1,500 over here. I've got 5,000 in this space, right? But across all Speak Up Sis platforms, there's 10K plus followers, right? So you want people in a media kit, they want to know what your followers are. How you present that number is important. Okay, but you want to have your followers. You want to also have, if you have downloads, right? You want to have how many downloads of your show if you have a show, right? If you are, I know Tiana, you're an author, right? You may want to have something in there in terms of how many books you sold or something of that nature. Here again, how you present the numbers is important. So the numbers in your media kit will vary depending on your business and depending on who you're sending the kit to. So one thing about a media kit, and we're not even talking media kits tonight, but I'm gonna just throw this out there. You don't want to send the exact same media kit to everybody because you're connecting to people for different reasons. So the media kit that I send someone that I want to sponsor my podcast is going to have numbers that will show that they're going to get an ROI, a return on their investment.
What's in it for them?
What's in it for them, right? Versus a media kit that I send to someone to be a guest on my show. Because they're looking at something totally different. They want to know how many people are going to see them. They want to know whether or not, it's all about what's in it for them. But the numbers they're going to be looking for will be different because the reason they're coming on the show are different. So what numbers to put in your media kit depend on who you're sending the media kit to, and you want to make sure that you think about what they are going to get from you, and then put the numbers in the kit that will show them that you're worth their time coming into your space for whatever media, for whatever type of business you have. You want to add something to that, Charnel?
Yes. Another thing you'll want to do is look at somebody else's media kit that's doing what you do. That's doing what you are already doing, that is successful in that field, in that industry, and look and see what's in their media kit. Do they have a media kit, right? And because some people, they have it on their website, depending, I've seen it on people's websites, but yeah, find out what other people do what's working. You don't reinvent the wheel. Do what's working. Save yourself some time and energy trying to figure it out yourself, and just see what's working and what other people are doing, what other authors that's selling the same type of books or topics that you are, and see what's in their media kit. But I want to make sure I give a shout out to everybody out in on YouTube. Okay. I haven't forgot about y'all. I just been running my mouth, but I wanted to give a shout out to Topics with Janetta. Okay. She said systems are definitely important, and it makes you accountable, which is something we mentioned earlier. Oh my goodness, I hope I don't pronounce it wrong. Haro Bed 76 says, hey. She checked the analytics on her TikTok and her Instagram pages to see her numbers. Good. And she also says, find out what works for you, right? It's not a one size fits all.
That's right. I was
also, wait, one more thing.
Go ahead.
If we say anything that is like an aha moment or a nugget or whatever, put it in the comments. We want to know if what we're saying makes sense, if it works, if it's resonating with you all, right? Let us know.
Thank you, Charnel, because I just get to talk.
We just talk. And we don't even know if it's working.
I know. So that's good. Thank you so much. So yes, y'all, if what we're sharing is resonating with you, if you're having a light bulb moment, an aha moment, put it in the chat. Let us know what part of what we're saying is connecting with you. Let us know if we're sharing something that is actually going to be useful for you. Let us know whether or not this is good content, good, valuable stuff that you can actually utilize, because we don't want to talk about stuff that you don't need.
Right. Ask a question like the other young lady.
Yeah, like Tiana did. If you have questions about anything we're sharing, please put them in the chat, and we are most definitely going to answer. If you all notice, I've been creating a bit more content in the Speak Up Sis podcast space to help entrepreneurs. We've got the Small Biz Spotlight that is exclusive to the Facebook page, encouraging experts every third Monday of the month. And we also have on Tuesdays now, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, CJ Benjamin and Branded. He's coming into the space. The man is like a phantom or something. Nobody ever sees him. They see his work, but they never see him. And I was like, CJ, I need you to come to the light so that you can help my people. And he agreed to do that. And last Tuesday was the first time. And it was phenomenal. If you missed it, you need to just go check it out. But he'll be back in the space tomorrow talking about how to develop your own personal brand. So you want to make sure you're there. I am not just sharing personal stories in this space, but we're also sharing entrepreneurial stories and expertise. So please make sure that you check us out. Tanya says, aha, love it. Yes, tell us your aha moments. So let's go ahead because we want to make sure we get these last two in. And so our number 3 for tonight is all business isn't good business. All business isn't good business. This is something that's overlooked a lot. I have a good friend of mine who's very money motivated. And I say all the time, I'm not money motivated. I know businesses have to make money to be in business, but sometimes when your brain is on the money all the time, you will just do business to get the money. And the truth is, some business you really do need to turn away. So Charnel, what do you have to say about this? All business, I say ain't good business, but all business isn't good business.
So I have to train my staff on that. I'm like, look for the red flags. Don't make excuses for it. Don't justify it. A bad client is a bad client, right? Because at the end of the day, what the outcome of dealing with that person is not worth it. It's not worth the couple of $100s or whatever you're getting. So for example, we had this happen a few weeks ago. We had a lady call in and she said her house, I don't know if she's a hoarder or if the person who was living in it was a hoarder. Anyway, she was a hoarder. We have a strict policy that if we come to your home and it's infestation, we will not go in there. I do not want to run the risk of bringing bugs from that house to the next house or into my staff's home. So my VA booked this cleaning and my cleaners get there and they're like, this place is filthy. You could barely walk. It's stuff piled up. And I'm like, so the first thing I said was, did they leave? I don't want that kind of money because I know the aftermath of dealing with someone like that. You know, the team that went out, one of them has a newborn baby. I'm like, do not bring that. No, because now we have to throw all the equipment out. Right. But I say all that to say, I was telling my VA, yes, I know you want to meet your quota. I know you want to make sales and all that good stuff, but all business is not good business because she is going to be a thorn in our side, in which she was. The next day, my staff is going back and forth with each other, talking about her and the what she said to her and I said, we are not being productive. We're losing money because y'all sitting here talking about this lady, her nasty house. No, it's not worth it. So I tell them, I was like, all business is not good business. I don't want all business. I want certain clientele. I have an avatar of who I want to service, who I want my business to service. And that's important. And that also goes into having a system and making sure your people understand what the system is. Our system pertains to our avatar. It pertains to our core values, our culture. All that had to be created. What was important to me? After being in business for 15 years, I've learned what works, what doesn't work. I know what red flags to, look for. So when I hire someone new, they're thinking I'm just being mean. I'm like, nope. I've been there, done that. I know I can tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So and just be okay and know that, I looked at it as the money we lost or could have made the next day if we weren't talking about this lady for 3-4 hours.
Could have made
like
that money.
You could be picking up the phone, talking to somebody who is willing, able to pay,
Yes.
and doesn't have cockroaches running around their house.
Yep. Even with Speak Up Sis, and I don't know what it is about the VAs, but I guess, they know what they need to do, right? The expectations that have been set forth. But I remember this author that one of the VAs reached out to about being on the bookshelf. Now, there are different levels that you can be on the bookshelf, and just entry level was at the time was $20. And that's just to list your book, right? Not featured or interview, just to list the book, $20. My goodness, this author sent a gazillion emails about what about this and what about that, and my book is this and my book is that, and this, and I just, I took over the messaging at that point and was like, this is Angel Charmaine, founder of the bookshelf, and I don't believe this is going to be a good fit because we don't do X, Y, Z or whatever. Shut it down. But then I had to talk with the VA to say, listen, no, this is a criteria for who we want. If the person doesn't meet this criteria, don't even reach out.
Right. Don't entertain it.
Don't even reach out, because it takes more work. It's more headache. It takes up time. Time is money, right? The time that I'm having to go back and forth with this person for $20.
Right.
We could have made more money. We could have talked to more authors. We could have done more things. So listen, not only that time spent, but CJ said something in the branding on Tuesday. And he said to be careful of people who are spending their last dollar on your service.
Oh, yeah.
Because, honey, when he said that, I almost threw something, because they are going to, even if you give them excellent service, even if your product is amazing, because they're angry that they're spending their last on it, you're dealing with negative reviews. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with negative word of mouth. You're dealing with a lot of complaining. Listen, all money ain't good money, y'all. But when you have systems in place, when you have an avatar, you said something there. We may have to talk one day about avatars. When you have your avatar, when you have these things in place, when you know what the vision of your business is, what it is that you're out here trying to do, when you have these things in place, then you know the type of customers that you want, the type of clients. And if people don't meet that, it's okay to say, I don't believe this is going to be a good fit.
Right.
And I said that for the podcast, the bookshelf, all the spaces, I have said, you know what? I don't think this is going to be a good fit. Just keep that money. Yeah. Right? So you can keep your sanity, and you can maybe even ward off some negative press behind it, some negative testimonials, and save you some money in the long run. All right. And so our last one, because we get to talking and running out of time. We're almost done. We got like 7 minutes, Charnel. So let's get this last one in. Number 4, the number 4 overlooked fundamental for business that we came up with is get rid of bad apples. This one is hard. Go ahead, Charnel.
When I say bad apples, I mean people who work for you and customers. We just sat here and talked about bad customers. They're bad apples too, because they're cancerous, right? They don't like something. They're posting all these negative reviews. A lot of times they're inaccurate, and it's not worth it for your business. It hurts your business. When you see a red flag, or somebody who's, I call cancerous because it spreads. You kill it. You don't babysit cancer. You don't counsel it. You kill it immediately. Because it will hurt you. It will hurt you in the long run. You will lose money. You will lose your peace because someone who is just being irrational. It's not worth it. And when you, and that's something that I had to learn, especially with employees, because I would keep people way too longer than they should have been. And the longer I kept them, the more they hurt the business. And then you develop that eye, right? So I train my staff, pay attention to the signs. She crazy, believe her the first time she showed you she crazy. Believe her the first time. Don't sit here and say, I don't want to hear nothing about a bad day. Bad day is one thing. Crazy is another, right? So don't justify it and be okay with it, because when you get rid of that bad apple, it opens the door for the right person to come in.
That's right.
It opens the door for that right client who's willing to pay, that you will never have to speak with, that you don't have to go back and forth with. You tell them what they need to do, they do it. You go about your business, they go about theirs.
Yeah.
And you're running a business. You think the CEO of Coca-Cola is sitting here worried about somebody complaining because their can was dented? No. He's like, whatever. You know, like,
give them a new can and go on, send them
right. Or talk to my manager, one of my managers.
Exactly.
That's the CEO has so much more to do. Their goal is to grow the business, to enhance the business, to see what needs to be tweaked and fixed. You know, you don't have time to sit here and worry about some of the little things.
That's right. And bad apples, people, are not just clients or employees. Sometimes you just have bad apples in your life. Listen. When you are trying to run a business, when you're trying to start the business, run the business, be in business, sometimes the people in your space are bad apples. Remove them.
Including family.
And family, friends. Oftentimes we want a team of people. Sometimes you have bad apples on your team that won't allow for new people. There are some folks you have around you that other people are watching. They don't want to be connected to you because of the people that you're connected to.
Right.
You've got to be very careful about who's in your space and whose spaces you're in. A lot of times we want to be connected to people that are bad apples. Mm-hmm. You've got to be willing to say, nope, I'm not going to be attached to that. Nope, I'm not going to bring that into my space. Or if you got people talking reckless in your ear, nope, I don't want to listen to you, right? So it's not just clients or customers. It's not just your employees, but it's also the people who are in your personal life who may be hindering your professional growth. So bad apples, listen, they're everywhere. Make sure when you see that spot that you get rid of that one and don't feel any kind of way about it. It is business. It is not personal, right? Get rid of the bad apples. And this is just, I know it's something hard to do, especially when you're new in business. We want support from everybody.
Yeah.
And you're afraid to tell anybody no, because you feel like you don't have a lot of support anyway. But it's best to have one or two solid people that are helping you to grow than to have 10 and 9 of them are rotten. Just hold on to the one.
Right. And as the entrepreneur, you have to be in a position to see that. Mm-hmm. If you're in the midst of it, it's hard to see.
That's right.
So that's why you want to make sure you get to the point where you can decompress, you can look back and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. You can get as my business coach said, a bird's eye view of what's going on in your business and say, okay, what's not right? Take some time, maybe an hour or two a day or out the week to say, okay, let me look at and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. What can be tweaked? I wanted to say, hey, to Rima Healing. She said, yes, this is so true. Be careful who you are connected to.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, ladies and gents, we have come to the end of the road tonight. Charnel, we always get to the end so quickly. Every time. We have come to the end of the road. And again, sis, I appreciate you every third Monday for taking out time out of your busy schedule to do this segment with me. I could not do it by myself. So I really appreciate you. And for all of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. We're really, really close to our first 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you're watching on Facebook, go on over to YouTube and subscribe to Speak Up Sis. If you are not following us on Facebook, do that as well. There's some exclusive content that is only on the Speak Up Sis Podcast Facebook page. So please make sure that you're following us there as well. Check out Charnel. She is on Instagram at Charnel
26.
Make sure you're following her. If you need a business coach, she's your girl. If you need a life strategist, if you need someone to help you to get those ideas out of your head on paper, create some goals and start making some things happen, connect with me. You can find me at speakupsis.com and all my social. You'll be able to connect with me via speakupsis.com. Any last words, Charnel, before we let the people go tonight?
Just remember what we said. We dropped a lot of nuggets. I know it's a lot to take at once. So just hit the replay and watch it over as many times. Take notes, because we do give a lot of good content, and we've experienced this. This isn't something that we're making up. Like, we know this to be true. So we're saving you some heartache.
Yes. Remember, you've got the encourager. I'm still in it right with y'all. I'm a novice too. I'm learning this stuff. I'm doing it. I'm talking to you about what I've already tried and I'm doing it. Then you got the expert right there. She's been doing this thing for a minute now. She knows how to build and to run $1 million business. And so you all get the best of both worlds right here every third Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Speak Up Sis Podcast. So you all have a beautiful night. Those of you who are listening, make sure that you are following us on whatever your favorite podcasting app is. And give us a rate and a review as well. Let us know how we're doing. And with that, you all have a wonderful night. Until next time, don't forget, open up your mouth and speak up.
Good night.
Night.